Every single day there's a battle raging within you. It's not about proving yourself to anyone else. It's you against the weaker version of yourself. That voice in your mind, the one whispering that it's okay to settle, that you should wait until tomorrow, that you should avoid discomfort. That voice is your greatest enemy, and for too long you've given it control. The version of you from yesterday has no claim over who you can become tomorrow. This isn't about external validation. It's about making the choice right now, to rise above your excuses, to push beyond what's comfortable, to become someone stronger. The only opponent that truly matters is the part of you that wants to stay the same. We all hear that voice, don't we? The one that nudges us toward the easy way out, convincing us that mediocrity is acceptable. It's the same voice that feeds hesitation, that tells you to wait for a better time, that keeps you tethered to the familiar. And sure, staying in that place feels safe, predictable, but deep down you know that's not where you're meant to be. That voice is a liar. It promises security, but it steals your potential. It gives you comfort, but it costs you growth. Yet there's another voice, one that speaks softly but carries the weight of truth. It tells you to rise. It tells you to push through. It doesn't sugarcoat the journey. It warns you that growth is painful, that discipline is demanding, that real change requires sacrifice. Most people ignore this voice. Why? Because it doesn't offer easy solutions. It forces you to confront your own limits. It demands that you step into discomfort. But discomfort is where transformation happens. The choice is yours. You can listen to the voice that keeps you stagnant, or you can choose the voice that pushes you forward. No one can make that decision for you. No one is coming to save you, you versus you. That's the fight that defines everything. Every day you stand at a crossroads. You can choose to listen to the voice that tells you to stay where it's safe, where nothing changes, where you remain the same. Or you can choose the voice that dares you to rise, to challenge yourself, to step into the unknown. No one else can make this decision for you. It's always been you against yourself. Fear is the chain that holds too many people back. It sneaks in, plants doubt in your mind, and convinces you to take a step back instead of forward. But ask yourself, when has avoiding fear ever led to growth? It hasn't, because fear isn't meant to be avoided. It's meant to be confronted. If you want to grow, you have to stop running. You have to get used to discomfort, embrace it, lean into it. The things that scare you the most, that's exactly where you need to go. Growth isn't waiting for the perfect moment or until you feel ready. It's about standing in front of your fears and making the decision to move forward despite them. Most people wait for courage to show up before they act, but that's not how it works. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to move forward in spite of it. Every time you let fear dictate your choices, you give away a part of yourself. But when you stand your ground, when you push back, something shifts. You reclaim your strength. You become more than who you were yesterday. Make no mistake, it won't be easy, it will hurt, it will push you past your limits. But that pain, it's temporary. The version of you that comes out on the other side, that's permanent. Growth is forged in struggle, in the moments when you want to quit but don't. The only way to become unshakable is to go through the fire and refuse to break. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. And if you can endure it, if you can push through, what waits for you on the other side is worth every second of the struggle. So if you want to win, stop avoiding what makes you uncomfortable. Face the challenges that shake you to your core, that make you question yourself, that force you to be vulnerable. That's where the real breakthroughs happen. That's where you meet the version of yourself that refuses to be held back. Fear will always be there. The question is, will you let it stop you or will you push through it anyway? In the end, it's always you versus you, and the only thing standing between you and the life you're capable of living is your willingness to face your fears head-on. Most people don't want to accept this truth, but success is built on self-discipline. Without it, you'll stay stuck, chasing short-lived bursts of motivation that disappear the moment things get hard. It doesn't matter how inspired you feel today, because feelings come and go. But discipline? That's what keeps you going when you're exhausted, when progress feels slow, when the results haven't shown up yet. Discipline is waking up before the world, putting in the work when no one's watching, pushing forward when every excuse tells you to quit. It's the backbone of achievement, the difference between those who dream and those who do. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to force you out of bed, push you to chase your goals, or make sure you stay committed. This journey, It's all on you. And that's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. Because once you take full responsibility for your actions, you take control of your future. No more waiting for the perfect time. No more blaming circumstances. It's about making a decision every single day to be disciplined enough to build the life you want. And that decision, that's what separates those who succeed from those who spend their lives wondering what could have been. Discipline isn't just about doing the hard things. It's about doing them consistently, even when no one sees, even when no one claps for you. It's about showing up on the days when you feel like it the least, because those are the days that define you. Anyone can work hard when they're motivated, but discipline is what keeps you going long after that motivation fades. It's easy to start. What's hard is staying the course, especially when the process feels slow, especially when progress is invisible. But the ones who stick with it, they're the ones who win. So stop waiting for someone to push you. Stop looking for external validation. Build that fire inside yourself. Make discipline your foundation, your driving force. Because when you do, nothing can stop you. Not fatigue, not doubt, not failure. The power to change your life isn't in someone else's hands. It's in yours. And the moment you take ownership of that fact, you become unstoppable. Discipline is what separates those who merely wish for success from those who actually achieve it. If you want to break through your limits, if you want to rise above mediocrity, discipline has to become your foundation. Stop waiting for motivation. It's unreliable. Stop looking for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. The ones who succeed aren't the ones who feel like working every day. They're the ones who do it anyway, regardless of how they feel. That's where true progress happens. It's not in the easy days, but in the ones that challenge you, the ones that test your willpower. It's you versus you, and discipline is the tool that will determine who wins. Life will throw punches. You will face obstacles that shake you, moments that make you question whether you're strong enough to keep going. But here's the truth. Those struggles aren't your enemies, they're your training. Every challenge, every setback, every failure is an opportunity to grow. You can see adversity as a roadblock, or you can see it as a stepping stone. The difference? Your mindset. When life knocks you down, it's not asking you to quit. It's giving you a chance to rise. Every hardship you endure is molding you into someone stronger, more resilient, more capable. Pain is inevitable, but what you do with it is up to you. You can let it weaken you, or you can let it sharpen you. Every frustration, every failure, every moment of doubt, these are not reasons to stop. They are reasons to push harder. It's easy to sit back and complain, to ask, why is this happening to me? But where does that lead? Nowhere. Instead, shift your perspective. Stop asking, why me? And start saying, watch me. Use adversity as fuel. Every difficulty you face is a lesson, a chance to build yourself into someone unshakable. The ones who win in life aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who refused to let their struggles define them. They took their pain and transformed it into power. They didn't run from difficulty. They leaned into it. So the next time you feel like giving up, remember, this moment is shaping you. This is where you build the kind of strength that no one can take away. It's you versus you, and the only way you lose is if you quit. So take that pain, that adversity, and turn it into your greatest advantage. That's how you win. Block out the distractions. The world is filled with distractions. Everywhere you go, something is trying to dictate who you should be, what you should want, and how you should define success. Social media bombards you with highlight reels. Opinions flood in from every direction, and even the people closest to you may have their own expectations for your life. But here's the truth. None of that matters. The only voice that truly counts is your own. If you want to make real progress, you have to learn to tune out the noise. Stop looking to others for validation. Stop chasing someone else's version of success. This is your path, your story, and no one else gets to write it for you. Comparison is a trap, and it's one that too many people fall into. It's easy to scroll through social media and feel like everyone else is ahead of you, like they've figured something out that you haven't. But that's an illusion. Most people are just as lost as you are. They've simply mastered the art of appearances. You don't need to impress anyone. You don't need to prove yourself to strangers. What you do need to do is show up for yourself, consistently, relentlessly. Because at the end of the day, success isn't about looking like you have it all together. It's about actually putting in the work to get where you want to be. If you let the outside world dictate your mindset, you'll never reach your potential. Opinions will always be there, distractions will always exist, and doubts will always try to creep in. The only way forward is to block it all out and focus on your own progress. What do you want? What are you working toward? These are the only questions that matter. The more you allow external voices to influence your decisions, the further you drift from your true purpose. But the moment you shift your attention inward, when you stop seeking approval and start trusting yourself, everything begins to change. You have a mission, a goal, a purpose that is uniquely yours. Stay locked in on that. Stay committed to your own growth. The more you learn to silence the noise, the more powerful your inner voice becomes. That's where true strength is built. That's where confidence is forged. And when you finally stop listening to the world and start listening to yourself, you'll realize you were never lost. You just needed to block out the distractions to hear your own willpower calling you forward, unlocking your inner power. The only battle that truly matters is the one you fight with yourself. It's not about talent, luck, or some hidden shortcut to success. It's about the relentless force that drives you to keep moving forward when everything inside you begs you to stop. That force is discipline. It's the defining trait of those who rise above the rest, the invisible edge that separates the unstoppable from the average. Most people wait for motivation, but discipline doesn't rely on fleeting emotions. It stands firm when the excitement fades, when the path gets tough, when the pressure feels unbearable. The moment you master this, you become unstoppable. There will come a point when everything feels like too much, when the struggle is exhausting, when self-doubt whispers that you're not good enough, when fear paralyzes you from taking the next step. This is where most people surrender. They convince themselves that they've reached their limit, that it's easier to quit than to endure. But the truth? That breaking point isn't the end. It's the threshold of transformation. Those who push past it aren't stronger or more gifted. They've simply made a choice to keep going when every excuse tells them to stop. That's where growth happens, in the moments of raw perseverance when everything inside you screams to give up, yet you press forward anyway. You can't buy discipline. You can't fake resilience. No one can hand them to you. They are forged in the fire of struggle, built through adversity, and strengthened in the silence where no one is watching. Every time you choose to persist, you are sharpening an unbreakable mindset, one that won't crumble under pressure, one that thrives in discomfort. This isn't about natural ability, it's about grit. It's about proving to yourself, over and over again, that you are capable of more than you ever believed. Each moment of struggle is an opportunity. Either you back down or you rise. True strength isn't found in comfort. It's discovered in those dark moments when you refuse to break, when you decide that quitting is not an option. The world doesn't reward those who almost make it. It belongs to those who push through, who refuse to settle, who demand more from themselves even when no one else does. That's the difference between those who reach their potential and those who spend their lives wondering what could have been. You have the power to choose which side you'll stand on. The question is, how far are you willing to go? The fight for your future. No one is going to build your dreams for you. No one is coming to hand you success, to make things easier, to clear the path ahead. If you want something, you have to be willing to fight for it. And not just once, not just when it's convenient, not just when it feels good. You have to fight for it every single day. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't luck or talent. It's their willingness to keep pushing forward when everything is telling them to stop. It's about making a decision right now that no matter how many times you get knocked down, you will always rise. Failure isn't what stops people. It's the fear of failure. It's the hesitation, the self-doubt, the inner voice that whispers, maybe I'm not good enough. But here's the truth. Failure is inevitable. You will fall. You will struggle. You will hit roadblocks that seem impossible to overcome. But what defines you isn't whether you fail. It's whether you get back up. Every time you rise after a setback, you grow stronger. Every time you refuse to quit, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. The only person standing in your way is you, and the only way to win is to refuse to surrender. There will be moments when everything feels too heavy, when exhaustion sets in, when doubt creeps into your mind, when giving up feels like the easier choice. That's when you have to dig deeper than ever before. That's when you have to remind yourself why you started, The moment you feel like quitting is the moment you must push even harder. Because right past that breaking point, that's where the breakthrough happens. That's where your true strength is revealed. The ones who succeed aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who kept going when everything inside them begged them to stop. Your willpower is your greatest weapon. It's the force that will carry you through the hardest moments, the fire that will keep you moving forward when nothing else can. Once you unlock that relentless drive, once you commit to never backing down, nothing in this world can hold you back. It's you versus you, and every choice you make brings you closer to the life you were meant to live. The only question left is, how bad do you want it? The road to success. Success isn't a stroke of luck. It's not a sudden breakthrough or a gift handed to you. It's a journey, a relentless process of effort, discipline, and perseverance. The ones who succeed aren't the ones who wait for the perfect moment. They are the ones who show up day after day, putting in the work when no one is watching. It's easy to want the end result, to crave the rewards, but very few are willing to embrace the grind required to get there. There are no shortcuts, no easy paths. The only way to win is to commit fully, to lean into the struggle and do the work, even when it feels like nothing is changing. The process is where everything happens. It's in the early mornings when you push yourself to get up. It's in the long nights when you're exhausted but keep going anyway. It's in the failures that test your resilience and the setbacks that challenge your commitment. Most people avoid discomfort, but that's exactly where growth occurs. Every struggle, every moment of doubt, every obstacle, these are the moments that shape you. They force you to decide how badly you want it, whether you're willing to keep fighting when everything feels impossible. This is where true strength is built. Results don't come overnight. You won't see immediate success, and that's why so many people give up before they ever see progress. But understand this, every effort, every sacrifice, every choice you make is laying the foundation for something greater. The small, seemingly insignificant steps you take today are pushing you closer to your goals, even if you can't see it yet. That's why you have to trust the process. Trust that the work you're doing now will pay off later. Stop waiting for the finish line to appear. Stop looking for the perfect moment to start. The only thing that matters is what you're doing right now. This journey isn't easy. It will test you. It will challenge every part of you. But those who embrace the process, who commit to the daily grind, are the ones who come out on top. Success isn't about reaching a destination. It's about becoming the person who refuses to quit. Every rep, every step, every sacrifice is proof that you're willing to do what others won't. And when you fully commit to the process, that's when the real victory happens. That's when you realize success was never about luck. It was about the effort you were willing to put in all along, the ultimate battle. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing: you versus you. No one else is responsible for your success. No one else is running your race, chasing your dreams, or living your life. It's easy to compare yourself to others, to get caught up in what they're doing. But the only competition that truly matters is between who you are today and who you have the potential to become. Every decision, every action, every moment is an opportunity to close that gap, to take one step closer to the version of yourself that refuses to settle. This journey isn't about perfection. It never was. It's about progress. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. Other days you'll struggle just to keep going. But every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Growth isn't always visible. Sometimes it's happening beneath the surface, in the unseen moments when you choose discipline over comfort, when you silence self-doubt and take action anyway. There will be challenges. There will be days when your mind tells you to quit, when your body begs you to stop. And that's where the real test begins. Will you give in or will you rise? Will you let excuses define you? Or will you push through and prove to yourself that you're stronger than the obstacles in front of you? Because here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. It's your responsibility, your fight, your destiny to shape. And that's what makes it so powerful, because once you realize that, nothing can hold you back. So stop waiting. Stop looking for validation, for permission, for the perfect circumstances. The only thing that matters is what you do right now. Push yourself a little further. Demand more from yourself. Take ownership of your life and refuse to let anything stand in your way. The battle has always been within you. And the only way to win is to show up every single day and give it everything you've got. Because when you do, that's when transformation happens. That's when you become unstoppable.